And then I am going to screen share so that we can see the agenda. Hold on just one moment. Okay. Right. Okay, can you see the agenda?
I can.
Okay, fine. All right, very good. All right, well, welcome to those of you who are here and welcome to those who might be coming. And I'm going to review the agenda in the now and hope that more people will show up. First, we will have introductions from the board members who are present, and we're going to truncate it a little tonight because of the presentation. And then we will ask residents and other visitors to provide their names and give tell how long they've lived in Brentwood-Darlington and their primary interests with regard to our neighborhood. And invite you to oh, here comes Tina. Excuse me, I'm going to admit her. Hi, Tina. Okay. All right. So after we finish with the introductions, if anyone is here from Black Futures Farm, Master Gardeners, or Woodstock Library, those representatives are welcome to give a brief presentation. At 6:55, we are planning to have a presentation by Andy Nelson, the Executive Director of Impact Northwest, to describe the vision for Brentwood-Darlington Community Center. And that will be very interesting. We'll then go on to that will be our primary focus this evening. But when we are done with that, we're going to go on to some announcements of public interest. One is that a crafting gathering or club, it's not really a class, will be held at the BDCC, and Tina or Gail can describe that. And then I wanted to let you know about line 10, which has been moved back to Harold Street off of Duke. And we're sad about this, but it may not be the end of the story. We then go on to board business. We have a number of things that must be voted on. And if we have time, then we'll go on to the other parts of the list. So let's go back to introductions. And will you introduce yourselves? Say your name, your position if you're an officer, and your primary interest with regard to the neighborhood. So Pam, would you like to start?
Oh, hi, I'm Pam Hodge, and board member and current treasurer for BDNA, I guess, for the last 3 months. And I also represent Brentwood-Darlington Neighborhood Association on the planning study with the City of Portland, the Lower Southeast Area Rising Plan. And I'm really interested in climate change and neighborhood resiliency and all its aspects. So I'm looking forward to Andy Nelson's presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. And then Kim DeLeo, would you like to go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Kim DeLeo. I've been in the neighborhood for 7 years, also a resident of Oregon for 7 years. And my interests are neighborhood improvement, some land use, although I haven't been extremely active in the land use, but like to see maybe participate in cleanup projects, or of course, anything regarding speeding on Duke, but I'm not going to beat that drum tonight.
Okay, now we have someone who has joined us by phone. No, I don't know who that is, but all right, we'll check that out in a minute. Okay, Laura Lee, would you like to go next?
Hi, I'm Laura Lee. I am secretary on the board. I have been a board member for 2 years now, I think, and I have lived in Brentwood-Darlington for 10 years. My interests are neighborhood connectivity, trying to come together as a neighborhood. So I'm extremely excited to hear about our neighborhood community center tonight.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Laura Lee. And I'm a board member, so I'll go next. Are there other board members that should be calling on first? Let's see here. Pam, Kim, Laura Lee. Okay, so I'm next. All right, I'm Stephanie Frederick. I'm the chair. My primary interest in Brentwood-Darlington is a wide variety of improvements and helping to support other organizations that are active in Brentwood-Darlington, and to help realize the vision of the community center, and try to work on problems like speeding and violence on our streets. So let's see, Brett Farrell, would you like to speak?
Yeah, hello. My name's Brett. My wife and I just moved to Brentwood-Darlington 3 months ago now, so we're very new here. I guess I'm interested in just getting involved in the neighborhood and general neighborhood improvement. I'm an economist with the state of Oregon, so I have a lot of involvement through the state and excited to get involved locally.
Oh, lovely. That did you attend a previous meeting?
No, this is my first meeting.
Oh, okay, fine. All right, thank you. If you would enter into the chat your email address and name, we would love to put you on our mailing list and be able to reach out to you. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay, very fine. All right, and now Gail is here. Gail, we were just doing introductions. Would you like to introduce yourself as a board member? Your name, your position, and your primary interest with regard to the neighborhood?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. I've been here since the age of the dinosaurs. I like parks. And sorry, I'm late.
That's quite all right.
So
And
with
Meg-
Gail joining us, we now have quorum. 5 board members are present.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, and Meg Van Buren just joined us. Hello, Meg. It's so nice to see your name. I can't see you, but I can see your name. Would you like to go next? Introduce yourself, your name, the length of time you've lived in Brentwood-Darlington, and your primary interest with regard to the neighborhood. Can't hear. We can't hear you.
Unmute. Okay,
Yes.
okay. I am Meg, and I have been working with the Brentwood-Darlington Neighborhood Association intensely for a few years, and then I've been off dealing with COVID and family things for a couple of years. But I am really interested in picking up and joining back in the really important work that's currently being done. It's always important. And I'm looking forward to jumping back in a bit. So
Welcome, Meg.
hi, my old friends.
Okay, yeah, it's really nice to see you, Meg. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for all the work that you've all been doing.
Yeah, and then lately we've been derailed into all of the treasurer stuff and the fiscal sponsorship and insurance stuff, and it's killing brain cells, I'm telling you. But we're getting it all understood, so it'll be easier in the future.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we do not have anybody present from Black Futures Farm, Master Gardeners, or Woodstock Library, and Mary Davis will no longer be joining us from Leach. She's resigning from their board of directors, and she'll occasionally send me updates. And she sent me one, but I'm not going to share. I didn't arrange to share it tonight because I thought that we would have more people and would be filling up the front part of the meeting more. We're scheduled to have Andy Nelson join us at 6:55, but that is he's not here yet because it's not 6:55. So why don't I go on to I'll skip the Brentwood-Darlington Community Center just for the moment and go on to the next part of the agenda, which is the announcements of public interest. And this would concern Gail and Tina. Tina, are you still with us?
Hey, Tina.
Oh, yes, there you are. Okay, fine. Okay, so could either one of you describe the crafting class? And we're thinking that maybe class is not quite the best word because that sounds formal, whereas you are offering a group that where anybody can come and join and work on their things. So maybe club or gathering or something like that. Would you like to describe it?
Sure. Okay. So I get these ideas and I run with them. And I know that as long as BDNA is doing Zoom meetings, for instance, and even when you're not, you have the community center booked for
Yes.
every Thursday through the year.
Yes.
I'm like, so let's build community, right? I've heard from so many people and seen in the forums on Facebook and Nextdoor and standing at the school, picking up kids, going, hey, is there someplace we can go and hang out and craft together? Not sell, but just have space to commune with neighbors and get to know each other. And so I'm like, why don't we do that? Why don't we do a crafting open house, or an open crop, or however you want to call it, where people can come and work on their sewing or crocheting or knitting, or just sit and talk, have a cup of coffee that they bring with themselves. They can scrapbook, they can make cards like Gail does and I do, and many others, and just come together as community that's big enough, that has enough breathability that our health risks are still lower. I was eating which is why I didn't have my camera on. So,
oh, Tina, Laura Lee has a question, I think. Go ahead, Laura Lee.
It's more of a comment. I think a good title would be crafting circle, like a sewing
lovely.
circle, but then a
Ooh.
crafting circle.
I like that.
Okay,
Like,
all right, circle it is then, all right.
So, and yeah, I don't really, it's not necessarily crafting with each other. There's definitely, if somebody wants to share with somebody that's there and asks, great. But like if they belong to an MLM or whatever, whether it's pick a company, they're not there to sell. They don't get to use that time to have their workshops and their classes. They need to reserve the center or wherever they're going to be on their own time. Personally, I mean, if the board doesn't care, I don't care if they have a little business card, but they're not preaching, they're not selling. It's just saying, this is what I'm working on. If you have a question, feel free to ask, but not saying, hey, are you interested in scrapbooking or, quilting bees, or it doesn't matter. They're not there to sell. They're part of a community. That's why they're there. And sometimes, like, especially sewing or quilting or big paper layouts, you need to get out of your house. You have to get out of the distractions of the dishes in the sink, or you need a bigger table. So if everybody pulls out their own table, sets it up, cleans it down, helps put it away at the end, it's a community event that happens to be hosted by the BDNA in our community center, serving our community. So, and then by all means, not open up the kitchen, not have coffee and tea made. Everybody brings their own. They're all grown-ups, right? But put out a coffee can for people to donate.
Yeah.
If they can, they will. And if they can't, they won't. But they won't feel bad about it. They'll just be going, this is part of being a community. And when I can, I will.
I like it.
Okay.
So that's my proposal. Starting
you.
as soon as you guys say it's okay or not okay. I'd love to run with this. I had emailed Stephanie a sample flyer and some sample graphics for social media, just because I was rolling with it that day and
Thank you.
happened to have been working in Canva anyway, so I made a quick slide.
You know how to work in Canva? Can you teach me?
I can teach anybody that, yeah.
Thank
can
you.
do it
Okay,
last night.
I need to learn that. I didn't show your graphic. I just I just presented your report and
Oh, yeah, like I said, I was
share
just
the graphics.
tinkering. It's not even, I mean, it's simple. It's
yeah,
nothing major, but it was because I was toying with it anyways, and I happened to been doing a slide for a different company that was very artistic anyway, so I just ran with it.
oh,
So,
wonderful. Well, thank you. I'm very excited about it. I may come and join you. I have the key, so I'll come and let you in.
right?
But I think it's a wonderful use of our Thursdays. Russell Wozniak has given us every Thursday in 2023. And so it's as though we have time riches to share. And so I'm just delighted that Gail and Tina have come up with this crafting circle proposal. It's perfect. And
Well, I was, and I was thinking that if we did it like just before 6 o'clock until about 9:15, it gives time for people to get done with work, grab a snack or drinks, and then get there and not make me exhausted with cleanup.
no, that's right. We want to minimize the hassle. And then one nice thing about the community center is the way it's designed. I mean, should there be a need to do something like hold an emergency meeting on a crafting night, it's very easy to either use the fireplace room or to close off one end of the big room. So we can actually have multiple things going on at the same time if necessary.
Well, and I was also thinking because of that big room, like when it's time to revamp the sandwich boards, for instance, for BDNA events, that's a prime time to bring those suckers on in there. And anybody that gets interested, we can say, here's some materials. You want to help out? Help your community get the advertising out.
Oh,
That's
yes,
word.
we may need that for the recycling.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be stupendous if you could, if people could help with that. Yeah,
I
that's
think
something.
that's such a great idea. So you can let people know that even if they don't have a craft to work on, if they wanted to volunteer their time to do projects for BDNA, that they're more than welcome. So that's such a fantastic idea.
Okay, well, so under board action, we will just officially approve that or bring it, ask for approval, and we have quorum. So I think this sounds like it's going to be a go, Tina and Gail, because sounds like this, who would vote against it? I mean, it's a wonderful idea. So
So that's fantastic. My next question is how soon can I get this rolling? When do you guys say that I can post on the next flyer and say, hey, could you share this on social media? And I will too, for a start date.
well, if we approve tonight, then there's a Thursday coming up next week, right?
So Stephanie, I have my hand up.
Sure.
to
I couldn't.
clarify that.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Okay.
Yeah, so thank you, Gail and Tina. I think this is a great way of involving more of the community and serving their needs. So I really appreciate that. As far as the start date, just want to make sure, since we have a number of unanswered questions about fiscal sponsorship, that Southeast Uplift has no problem with a new activity. We're meeting, Stephanie and I are meeting with Southeast Uplift staff to clarify all of our unanswered questions next Thursday. I don't think they're going to have a problem with this from a liability standpoint. So maybe not next week, Stephanie, but I would say the week after.
Like the
that.
19th.
Yes.
The 19th, yeah, okay.
Perfect.
All right, okay, sorry, Tina, thank you, Pam. Yeah, that might be the safest thing to do, but I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so Andy Nelson has joined us. Welcome, Andy.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Good to see you all.
Yes, hi, Andy. It's good to see you too. That we have quorum, but we don't have a big attendance at this meeting tonight. We don't have a lot of people from the neighborhood. So hold on just one moment. Two of our participants have raised their hands. Gail?
Is it time to move that we vote on having crafting night the second, third, and fourth Thursdays?
Well, we're going to wait till board business, but it'll be high on the list.
Okay,
It's there. It's in the agenda.
okay.
Okay, and Pam, your hand is still up. Did you have something else?
Sorry,
Oh,
forgot to.
no,
lower
that's quite all right. And I ignored you before, so now I wanted to make sure I didn't now. All right. So Andy, we do have a quorum, and we do have several people here who are very, very interested in the presentation. So what we could do is proceed with it and then make sure that I'll make sure that we get a lot of publicity out about it. Okay, so that it's not wasted. So let me just say that here's how I would like to proceed with the presentation. I mean, first of all, everybody, this is Andy Nelson, who's the Executive Director of Impact Northwest. And we're very fortunate to have him with us tonight. He's going to describe an exciting vision for the future of the Brentwood-Darlington Community Center. But first, I want to explain why the agenda is structured as it is. I want the presentation and board thought sharing to occur when the largest number of residents and board guests are likely to be present. So that will be in this forward part of the meeting. At the same time, I want to know what board members think about the proposed vision and about the BDNA's lead up role to that vision. So after Andy's presentation, I will describe the lead up role, and I will ask board members to join breakout rooms to talk about what they've just heard. And while the board is away, Andy and I can answer questions from those present who are not board members. It'll be a brief time in the breakout room, so this shouldn't be too inconvenient. And post breakout room, the board members will share their thoughts with us after they've had time to think, well, to share with one another. So I practiced doing breakout rooms a few days ago. If I cannot swing it, we'll go to plan B, but we'll find out later. So in the meantime, I would like to present Andy Nelson, Executive Director of Impact Northwest, to give us a presentation. And shall I make you a co-host, Andy? Do you have a PowerPoint?
I do. Stephanie, that'd be great. Good evening, everyone. Great to see you. Some of you I know I've met before in the past, and some of you I haven't met. Really psyched to be here with you today. I'm sure we'll be talking again as we build out a vision for what's possible at the community center. And I had the pleasure of getting to know Pam and Stephanie over the last couple of years, and we've really united in a real interest in seeing the community center revitalized back to the way it was envisioned when it was built in the mid-1990s. We wanted to, and we've been talking about that a bit and actually collaborating and trying to think about the biggest and best use of that facility. And so we've created a pretty brief power deck that I just want to review with everyone and just to lay out some basic and what I think are pretty exciting concepts here. Big thanks to Pam and Stephanie for co-visioning this with me. And it's an idea. This is not anything that we're saying it has to happen. We're in that place where we're trying to get the biggest and best idea, and then with the support of the neighborhood association, move forward. So you're coming in and really on the ground floor. Perfect. So I'm going to share my screen here, and oh yeah, this is going to work. I hope everyone can see that.
Yes, there it is.
Great.
Yeah.
And it's also asking me to admit someone to the meeting, which is
Oh,
go ahead.
okay, I think I can do that. Vivian,
a little out of place with that, but if you're okay, I just
no, that's fine. You're a co-host.
yeah, because I think I'm the
We
co-host,
can
right?
both do
Which is
things.
sort of funny.
Vivian, did you join us? Yes, I
Yeah.
see you. Okay. Yeah, we were rushing to admit you, and we successfully did. We're about to start the presentation about the vision for the Brentwood-Darlington Community Center. And Andy Nelson, the Executive Director, is going to make that presentation. So welcome. Thank you for being here, Vivian.
Hi, Vivian. I'm Andy Nelson from Impact Northwest. I was just going to describe a preliminary and draft vision for what we think could be possible at the Brentwood-Darlington Community Center. And so we see it, we see really three legs of the stool here. It's no surprise that we see this as a neighborhood gathering place. We also see it as a center for resiliency and anti-displacement. And we're going to describe what we mean by all three of those things. So the community center would provide relief for neighbors as well as a link to critical services. It's a place it could serve as a drop-in or for organized events that link neighbors with each other, as well as to resources they need so they can remain residents of the neighborhood. And it would also continue to serve as an early childhood hub. So let's kind of click into what we mean by each of these things. So strong neighborhoods, we know, need places for people to meet, work, and play. And that was the original vision of the community center. And to some extent, it does that. Things like your meetings. It's provided for some drop-in spaces, different events through the year, and neighborhood events and gatherings. And groups have come in who aren't from the neighborhood as well. So it's actually served as a gathering place for the greater Portland area, but in specifics, we really see this as a gathering spot for Brentwood-Darlington. And let's talk a little bit about a resiliency center and what we mean by that. And the way we're thinking about it is that it's a neighborhood hub that provides energy information, key services, and social connection before, during, and after a disaster. So we're pretty much talking about weather disasters for the most part. Let's take the snowstorm that hit in April. Remember that? And it knocked out power, and folks didn't have heat or any way to charge their cell phones. And anymore, that's a real lifeline for people. Imagining if we could open the center, and we actually did, but if we had more of a full plan for this as a warming center and a charging station, what if we had those Tesla-style batteries that could be operational all the time, even offering temporary shelter? So we feel too that the idea of resiliency centers is something that is becoming pretty popular around the country, and certainly in Portland. And we can talk a little bit about some of the plans the city has for the neighborhood and also their interest in resiliency centers. So this fits right in, I think, to a bigger plan. And in addition to that, this also could be at the community center, a place where we can have information for neighbors on disaster preparedness and other resources as well. Stephanie, Pam, I want to make sure though that the mic is open for both of you to jump in at any time, and please add your perspectives as well, because those are important.
Oh, thank you. Okay, very much. Thank you. I did want to say one thing about the Resiliency Center. Ideally, we would have a building that could operate on its own, have it be its own power source and storage, so that even if a storm wipes out the electrical power around the center, it would still, using these house batteries that Andy mentioned, be able to continue operating and charging and lighting and heating if necessary. So part of our thought is to, when we replace the roof, we should put solar on it so that we can create our own power source at the meeting. Okay, at the building. Go ahead. Laura Lee, you have your hand raised.
I wanted to ask about the breakout rooms. Should we ask questions here, or should we wait to discuss and break out? Because I already have some.
Ask your question. Ask your questions now, because the breakout rooms will be to discuss what you think about the vision.
Okay.
What's your reaction? So what's your question?
I think that it's a good vision. Of course, I am always concerned about how open the building will be during certain hours for drop-in, especially with children at the center. So, and I was also curious on, if people want to stop by to get information about, how to find housing and food and resources. Is this on a drop-in basis during preschool, or is there going to be somebody there to greet people that drop in? So I have a few questions about surrounding that scenario.
Oh, okay. I see the sort of thing that you're asking. So that would be better if you could track those in the breakout room. But those are exactly the kinds of things that we want to hear from our board members. Thank you. Okay, Vivian, you had your hand up. I cannot hear you. Vivian, are you speaking?
Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties.
okay.
I'm actually in a out of town, so I'm using my phone. And I think I should have put my hand down just now because I have similar, more, I guess, technical questions like Lorelei about some of these, about the vision. So I can hold my questions until the breakout rooms.
All right. Yeah. Now that I'm hearing the kind of questions you have, let's hold the questions until after the breakout.
Stephanie, if I may,
Yes.
add to this resiliency concept, it may be helpful for board members and community members to know that one of our inspirations for this concept of a resiliency center came from an in-depth study that the Masters in Urban Planning students did recently for the East Portland Community Center, and they got extensive community buy-in and buy-in from the city and the county. So, it's a very lengthy document, but for those who are interested in understanding how this might play out in Brentwood-Darlington, I think this would be a good read. So, Stephanie, I think you have the PDF file of that for
The link is in the chat.
Very good, thank you.
And if
Yeah,
you
thanks, Pam. Great perspective.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. All right. Do you want to go on to the next?
Well, it looks like Vivian has her hand up again.
Yeah, I just have a general question now that Pam brought that up. Does that give examples, like case studies of other community centers or similarly sized buildings that have done similar efforts?
Yes, it's footnoted with academic studies as well.
Okay, perfect. I'll take a look at that. Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit now about what we mean by anti-displacement hub. And what we mean by that is it's a social service hub where neighbors could be linked to really what we call critical services, from employment to childcare to benefits, housing, those sort of things. And the idea is that it could be, readily available, and that there even be organized events where we could specifically have information about these kind of services. In addition to that, it would continue to serve as that early childhood hub. So those are the three legs of the stool. And some of the specific questions, which are good in terms of hours of operation and that sort of thing, honestly, we don't have an answer for that. What we have is carved out is overall an approach. Three legs to a stool, the purpose for the center. The work after this, and we'd love to get your feedback on it, would be how does that sound to you? Of course, we're going to have to work out the details later about hours of operation. When could someone stop by? When would these services be available? We don't have answers to that. It may depend on our funding moving forward. But what we're hoping to do tonight is just give you a very high level look at the primary and core purposes.
Okay, okay, Pam. Yes,
Yeah, if I could jump in again with respect to anti-displacement hub, that third leg of the stool that Andy was describing. I mean, that's linked to the planning study, the Lower Southeast Area Rising Anti-Displacement Plan. I shared that draft document with the board last month, and you might recall that planning staff are recommending funding of Impact Northwest for dedicated staff at the Brentwood-Darlington Community Center. That funding would be supplied through the Joint Office of Homeless Services to directly serve residents in the project area. So, Andy, as I understand it, Impact Northwest already, has a housing and safety net program, but it's not dedicated. Staff are not dedicated to serving Brentwood-Darlington residents. So with the possible additional pressure that comes from zoning changes being proposed under the planning study, the city is expecting more possible displacement of residents that are currently housed. So, so the idea that the city is interested potentially in funding this with more positions sort of reinforced our idea that anti-displacement should be an additional focus of the Brentwood-Darlington Community Center.
Yeah, thanks, Pam. That's great context. I mean, reality is we will now serve folks who live in the Brentwood-Darlington neighborhood, but not in the neighborhood. I think that's what's exciting about this, is that right down the street, someone should find the resources they need.
okay, well, it's a wonderful three-part vision from my perspective, and it's really promising for our neighborhood. But what I would like to the reason that we discussed breakout rooms and decided on them is I want to know what the board thinks, the pros and the cons. I want to share screen with you just for a moment. Whoops. Can you see now the,
Yeah.
oh, okay, fine. When we go into breakout rooms, the board members, I would like you to look at these questions. What excites you about the BDCC vision? What might be missing? And then, of course, other questions you may have that you can bring back to us. And as you talk to one another, would one of you please note the main ideas so you can share them with us after you come back from the breakout rooms. And then we will talk about it with the rest of us who are going to remain behind, but we are also going to talk here about the vision and fill people in a bit on the history of the building. So let me, okay, I'm going to stop share now. I am going to click on breakout rooms. Okay, everyone pray for me. And okay, I'm going to create 2 breakout rooms. And because we don't have all the board members, so I'm going to put 3 people in one and 2 in another. I'm going to remain outside. So I'm thinking that Pam and Kim and Vivian will go into one room and Laura Lee and Gail into the other. And I want, yes, hi. Meg, can't hear you.
May I go into a room too, even though I'm not a board member at the moment?
Say yes.
I see Pam nodding yes. Okay, how about you, Tina? You want to do it?
No, actually, I want to stay here because I've got, I want to cover the question that was just asked based off of the community center's history and what had occurred back in 2000, 2001, 2003.
Okay, all right, very fine. All right, so I'm going to assign to room 1. This would be Pam.
Join us.
Stephanie, I'm going to assume that the breakout rooms are not recorded, correct?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't see how
Anytime
they
I've been
could-
part
I
of a
don't-
Zoom that has breakouts, they're never recorded. It doesn't take.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, Pam, Kim, and Vivian will go into room 1. All right. And then room 2 will be Meg, Laura Lee, and Gail. Okay. All right, now you know the questions, but you also have your own thoughts in addition to those questions. But what excites you, what's missing, and then other matters, all right? And keep track so that you can share your thoughts with us and be very honest about your feelings about this vision and what you hope for it and so on, and your concerns, because we need to know how the board feels. All right, so I am going to open all rooms, and but just one moment. Let me. Okay, save breakout rooms. I'm going to open all rooms, and then there was supposedly a place where I could schedule how long they last, but I'm going to time you for about 10 minutes. Do you think that's a good long enough? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to, oh, join. Okay, join. Join room 1, yes. Got it. But now,
There you are.
please forgive me, everybody. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay.
I think you got it, Stephanie.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Oh, the others are they're all in their rooms. Okay,
Mhm.
Yep.
I see. Oh,
And if you
Lord.
click, Stephanie, if you click on breakout rooms, there's a broadcast feature. And what that means is you can send a message to everyone.
Oh, okay.
You
So
can
let
say
me,
like, 5 minutes left or something.
okay, thank you very much. Okay. All right, let me set the timer for 10 minutes. And all right, very fine. Okay. All right, thank you, people who know about these things. All right, okay. All right, so Tina.
Okay, so having been off and on part of Brentwood-Darlington, and I'm a child care provider. Okay, so I'm state certified in my home. And back in, I want to say 99, 2000, the community center was all sparkly and fairly new, not real new, but it's kind of new. And there was the preschool aspect in it. And we didn't have any problems with safety or security. Yes, it's a whole different world. I see this every day outside my door. Hands down. But even before COVID, the preschool aspect was there, right? And I never heard complaints about this, the fear of safety or concern for those children in the programs that were running during the day. And the lobby was open that entire time because there'd be food that you could go and collect, like bread and things like that on the front racks. And then there used to be like clothing and shoes and strollers, and people would just bring things occasionally. And if there was room, great. And if not, not. And people could pick that up. But back in that time, child safety and concern was so huge that the Brentwood-Darlington Neighborhood Association and the community center and child care division all teamed up and had worked out a program with Rose right there on Duke, and would hold the PRO meetings, Provider Resource Organization, which is a state-run organization for child care providers, out of that community center every month. And they actually supported the surrounding neighborhoods that Rose predominantly caters to and providers, and enriching childcare to the point that they actually found grants to give awards for providers that stepped up a notch that happened to have been in our challenging neighborhoods, because it's always been challenging. You know, how long has Brentwood been known as Felony Flats? Forever. There's a reason for this, lots of reasons for that. And so even back in 2000, 2001, 2003, 2004, this was huge and it worked. So maybe pulling not just the community, but those that are trying to help keep safe the children and encourage higher quality care while still making it affordable for our challenged neighborhood. Because I know as a provider, I look at the prices that other providers are charging, and they don't charge, there's no way that I can believe that they're actually supporting our neighborhood in child quality care for what they're charging. Because most of the people in this neighborhood can't really actually afford the $1,800 per child care fee. Okay, that's what going
1,800 per month, you'd say?
per month per child.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't charge that because I'm catering and trying to actually enrich my neighborhood, but I've found programs that allow me to do that. So maybe making it where, her concern about, how do we keep the preschool kids safe in that community center? Why don't we make it an enrichment program? Like I said, we used to work with Rose, who deals with Brentwood-Darlington, Lentz, Mount Scarletta, and Foster Powell predominantly. And we're all poor ass neighborhoods for the most part, right? So why don't we work with them and build our lending closet and build our resources and provide quality care that our neighbors can actually take advantage of. If they're not a part of, if they're too poor to actually manage good care, but high enough on that income that they don't qualify for assistance, which
Okay,
about
so
half of our neighborhood does.
So you're proposing that there be an actual childcare or preschool at the BDCC?
No, but actually support the neighborhood that provide care. The question was, there's a preschool program essentially running out of a daycare out of that building, right?
No, it's play groups, actually, that they're periodic play groups. It's not actually a program like that.
Okay.
In other words,
Does that include that outdoor space that's specifically for preschool age?
Yeah, we haven't done anything since COVID, but prior to that, at least Impact Northwest was running play groups. So parents and children would show up and it'd be facilitated by our staff.
Okay.
But it was part of it was to teach parents about child development, and what to expect their kids to do at different stages, and how to talk to their kids, and how to not yell at them, and but still discipline.
Which we definitely need.
So, but
which group is it that then is running child stuff every Saturday? It's a school or something, right?
It may be somebody who's renting the space. It's possible.
What do you see going on?
I see usually single dads picking up and dropping off their small children. And the one person had asked about what about the children programs that are currently there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a concern about safety. And we used to have classes and workshops and things that were very family centered. But it wasn't a safety issue back then. It was more of an education thing.
Well, Tina, why don't you and I get together and put together a proposal and see where we can go with it, and what if it's something that could be implemented.
Yeah, because it's just, I remember how it did work. It wasn't a risk, and it really brought up the care in the neighborhood. That's how I think Holly is her name, over on 80th and Duke, right across the street from Woodmere. I think that she's in a Rose house. She got into her house through Rose and got approved for childcare through Rose for that, and has some serious supports through that. I don't know if Rose still does that for general. And I don't know if pros enrollments are high enough currently. I mean, everything went down with COVID, but I mean, there were workshops and classes and kids programs in the community center, and the safety wasn't a risk with having that lobby open.
Okay.
And that was what I was hearing was the concern was, well, how would there be somebody at that desk to keep the kids safe if the lobby's open? If the building's open, how are we going to keep those kids safe? Well, it's a community center. And yes, the kids are very, very, very critically important, but there's a way to do it. And we've done it before where those kids were safe. And that lobby was not ever closed during business hours.
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah, we
And
would
I
like to.
know that 2-3 weeks before Christmas, I picked up some furniture from the childcare setting inside that community center for free because they were downsizing their furniture
You mean just recently?
within the last 30 days. Yeah.
See, that Christmas, okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that sounds like something to keep in mind, you know, our first, and see if we can work out a proposal, a plan for that. And our, I think our first priorities are to, you know, figure out what the building needs in the way of rehabilitation, you know, a new roof and other maintenance and repair upkeep and how much that will cost, and then work on the three parts of our stool, the three legs of our stool. And I would say that this idea of somehow strengthening the area's preschools would fall under the I don't know which part of that. I guess the first part.
Well,
And,
it's actually, it falls under two of them, but
okay.
before our time runs out, because we're down to 2 minutes.
Mhm.
And Brett, if you're there, just pipe in because I'll talk forever.
Okay, so yeah, well, let me just tell Brett really quickly what we're talking about, though, okay?
Okay.
Because this is his first, he just moved here, and
I
this is
know.
his first evening here and joining us. So Brett, we're talking about a building that is near Lane Middle School. Do you know where Lane Middle School is?
Yeah, I've driven by Lane.
Okay, well, to the east of Lane is a big field, and sort of to the southeast of Lane, next to that field, is a big building surrounded by tall trees. Does that ring a bell? In any case, it's our community center, and it's been in existence since 1998, and mostly under the management, or since 2005, under the management of Impact Northwest. And now we've reached a point where post-COVID and with the building's roof lifetime coming to an end, we like to see the building spiffed up a bit, and then since there's so much potential there, actually use it to its full capacity in the ways that we described, that Andy Nelson described earlier. And so it's a wonderful project in my opinion, but anyway, that's a real quick background for you there. Okay. Well, Tina, maybe we should let them come back, and then we should have a big, get a discussion going. And what were you going to bring up?
So I was going to ask, part of the 3 sections was educate and prepare for emergencies, right? So is there a plan to potentially invite like the Master Preservers program or the Master Gardeners program in order to build the aspect of growing and livability and preserving in case of emergencies, or the NET program in teaching classes or anything?
We don't have any plans yet. We need people like you with ideas. We are just starting out with a conceptual basis for the future. But we're holding this meeting tonight because I want to know whether the board is in favor of our basic vision and the plan. And believe me, we're going to rope you in on the future planning.
As long as I'm not a voting board member, I don't care. I'm not doing that ever again. I had to deal with you guys at Pacific Northwest too much, and it drove me bat snot crazy. So here I am, I'll be a community member.
Well, you know, Cully neighborhood has adjunct board members called advisors. And so maybe you can be an advisor, and you don't have to get involved in the board stuff, but nevertheless, you can have a close relationship.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. I'm going to click broadcast and tell them to come back now. All right. Thank you, Andy and Tina and Brett. Broadcast voice, I guess. Hello, breakout room people. I'm going to give you about 6 seconds to come back. 10 seconds. I'll give you 10 seconds, but I'd like you to come back to the meeting. All right. Thank you very much.
Stephanie, if you click on the red button that says close all rooms, it'll give them 1 more minute.
Oh, it'll give them 1 more minute.
Mhm.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, I won't go back and bother them. I'll give them another minute. It says 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
You have a different program.
You got it. Okay.
All right.
It's
Well, they
definitely a
got
different
20
level of
seconds.
payment.
Oh my- Okay. Oh, here they are. They've come back. Oh my gosh, this was nerve-wracking. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to close that. All right, you're all back. Thank you.
Yeah, that worked out well. It told us that we had 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Countdown.
Oh, okay, very good. All right, well, we're eager to hear what you have to say. And Andy, can you stay for that discussion, or do you
Yeah,
need?
I'm happy to stay. I'd love to hear the feedback.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so could we start with you, Laura Lee? Could you tell us what happened in your room?
Yes, but I'm nominating Gail.
Does
Oh,
that
okay.
note?
Yes, Gail.
Our first concern, of course, was staffing. Who's going to let people in and out? The safety was a concern, and we want to re-welcome the police. I hope they still have an office available. There used to be a police, neighborhood policing office.
The sign is still there.
Okay,
But
I'm
not the
hoping they
police.
still have access to their office. That would help with building safety. We're very concerned. We think the crafting thing and getting groups back in is great. We love that. I'm a big fan of solar. The
A big fan of what?
solar on the
Oh, okay, solar. Yeah, okay.
big fan. The resource center, we fear it may become overwhelmed. So we would like to make sure it was adequately cared for.
Okay.
But we love the idea of going back into the community center.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So as long as we can keep the building safe and adequately staffed, maybe bring back the police.
Re-welcome them.
Yeah, but you are in favor of this
Absolutely.
vision. Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Very good. All right. Who would like to speak for the other group? Or wait, let's just stay with Gail's room for a moment. Is there anyone else there who would like to say anything from Gail's room?
I didn't, Gail pointed out that having a place for the officers in the past to grab a cup of coffee, and they have their own office to write reports and have them drop in without even having a schedule. That I just thought that was brilliant to welcome them back in, just to kind of oversee what's going on with the community and kind of oversee what we're trying to do. And I don't think that their presence was daunting before. I think it was welcomed. You know, the police presence in other community centers has been daunting. It has been where people didn't want to come into the community center if they saw police officers there. But it doesn't sound like it was like that at our community center. It sounds like they kind of just slid in and went to their office, grabbed some coffee, and had a place to, so maybe revisit that idea.
I have one quick thought. Laura Lee mentioned that she has quite a bit of experience with Parks and Rec and community centers, and in specific, the East Portland Community Center, and that it may be that there's not an exact parallel. In fact, size and services are different there than what we could manage, it sounds like. So I'd like to hear more about that, recognizing that it's different and we can take some lessons from them, but not all. So, yeah. And the finances of this, I'm really interested in hearing more about that, how it will work, you know, and the relationship that we have, how that will evolve. So those are things that, you know, with Impact Northwest, I'm really interested to hear more about that. So.
And did you just say the finances? Is that what you said? too?
Well, how,
Yeah, no, that's fine.
yes, I did.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that that was the word I heard. Yeah. Yeah, we're thinking a lot about finances too.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think in the very beginning, you know, as we move forward and start to fill in details in our 3 parts of our plan, you know, we'll be dealing with programming. Tina's had some wonderful ideas, and it will be good to bring her in with our in on our planning. And but we'll proceed little by little in a way that is organic, that fits the needs of the community. We don't want to rush off to Parks and Rec and impose Zumba, especially not Zumba. That I'm only saying that because I'm so uncoordinated. I can't do Zumba. Yeah, and we will be working on the financing. We want to know that we have a base of support here in the neighborhood for our vision, because that support allows us, Impact Northwest and us, to start reaching out to people, institutions that can endorse our vision, and to institutions, government, foundations, whatever, that have money to help us realize our vision. So we're going to proceed little by little, but we will keep you fully informed, you know, if, you know, and that is, you know, later in this meeting, we're going to ask for a vote whether you will approve or not proceeding with this. So we have an official vote, yes or no, on record. But anyway, so we don't have a lot of plans yet, Meg.
Sure. And I do want to say, I am so excited about this. I'm really excited. And I appreciate all the work that's already gone into this. And Andy, your willingness to work together with us, very big. As many years as I've been involved with BDNA, this has been, you know, a dream to have this moment to move forward. So thank you so much. And the other thing is about equity and inclusion and diversity. You know, that's sort of the umbrella that I use in doing all the work that I do. So I just want to throw that out there. And it sounds like, you know, we're on a path to keep that at the front of our minds. And that's, I just wanted to add that.
Well, we would love to have you be part of our planning, Meg, and that will just be fabulous. And Tina, as I mentioned, and others who
Yeah.
are full of ideas. Yeah. All right. How about the other group? Do we have a spokesperson for that group?
Well, I think that's me, because I was taking notes. And of course, since I've been involved in some of the early planning of the vision, I was more interested in hearing what Kim and Vivian had to say. So, you know, both of you feel free to chime in, but I think what I heard was that there was general support for this 3-legged concept, but lots of questions about the details, because of course, this is just a very high level concept at this point that needs to be fleshed out. And so I think some of the questions and concerns that I heard will help us, you know, decide what needs more attention. And I think our group hit some of the same themes that the first group expressed, like safety and security with respect to the shelter concept. I mean, even down to, well, how do we mitigate bed bugs and things like that? And also the capacity of the building for serving as a shelter, because it's a relatively small space. And in the event of a major weather or, you know, major quake, it would be overwhelmed. So I think part of the planning, as we flesh out this vision, should include a plan for diversion of overflow to other resources, you know, whether that's Scott Community Center or the East Portland Community Center, and how are we going to get people there under various conditions? You know,
Or even if I could, you had suggested even Lane Middle School, which is right next door. So
Yeah.
that's a possibility too.
right.
sorry.
And then with respect to resiliency, there were some questions raised about solar access because of the Doug fir trees, surrounding that property. And to the best of my knowledge, no solar access study has been done as of yet on that site. And then also just the economic feasibility of an investment in solar panels. And so, when we actually have a funding source for solar panels, that needs to be thought through. I mean, my preliminary thought is with the city of Portland's renewed focus on climate emergency, that maybe that calculus, cost benefit and externalities, it may change. It may not be the same way that you or I would evaluate the economic feasibility of installing solar panels on our individual houses. So, but I think those were really good questions.
Oh, Tina has a point to make. Excuse me, Pam.
Go ahead.
We can't hear you, Tina.
Sorry about that. About the funding of the solar, just as a heads up, Tesla does actually offer solar panels on discount, and there's a grant program specifically aimed at community resources for lower and challenged communities.
Yay.
Okay. All right.
We're very resourceful, Tina.
Okay, go ahead, Pam.
And then concern about security and licensing for any childcare that was provided at the site was raised as an issue. There was a mention that they like the craft idea as, a gathering place for the community. So Kim and Vivian, what did I miss here that we should report out to the larger group?
I feel like you've covered it, unless Vivian wants to add anything. The only question I had was before we entered the breakout, there was a comment about something occurring in 2011. If somebody could just maybe summarize that, that might be helpful.
Meg, was that your comment? Can't hear you. No.
It was probably me talking about how we used to, I covered it during the breakouts, about how we used to actually use the community center back in 2000, 2001, 2003. And we had children's programs and we had education programs, and the lobby was open, and we created safety through a variety of ways, but mostly there's ways to do it. I mean, we've done it. And part of it was just raising our awareness and raising the education in the terms of children, childcare, and neighborhood resources. That's a quick summarization.
I know, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, for those who don't know, Tina, you're a licensed childcare provider, correct?
Yeah, I'm state certified as a certified in-home provider.
Okay.
I was a charter member with Pro. I've worked with Rose in childcare related aspects. Yeah.
So you know a little bit about this topic.
Yeah, okay. Or quite a bit, yeah, okay. Very fine, thank you. Do you feel generally supportive of the vision, you from second breakout room?
So Vivian, we didn't hear from you, the larger group. Was there anything else that you would like to add?
I think you covered all of it, Pam. I did want to add on that we talked briefly about cooperating or joint programming with the schools nearby.
All right.
And that could maybe help with the funding and justifying some of the infrastructure that would be going in. So yeah, there's that. that's it.
And when you envision cooperating, what exactly did you think?
I think I was thinking in the specific instance of the solar capacity in terms of storage. And I think I was thinking, you know, if there was a resiliency need in an emergency, it would be probably using a lot of that energy that was stored, but for, you know, 360 days of the year, it might not be used at capacity. But if it was shared, then it might be better utilized and give more of a cost benefit to funding, to putting it in.
I see. Plus, Lane is out where there's lots of sunshine, isn't there?
Yes, there are no dead firs surrounding that building.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that.
So if I could just add on,
Please.
when individuals look at the study that was done for establishing East Portland Community Center as a resilience center, they made the distinction of how it would operate during like blue sky times when there wasn't a disaster, you know, and how it would operate when the disaster was actually happening. So they gave a lot of thought to that.
And including a transportation aspect too, for getting people either to the center or getting them where they need to go if it's elsewhere. So that's something that also we could think about, especially with regard, you know, to our capacity at the building. And if we can't send people to Lane, then we have to help them get somewhere else. So you know, that's a good thing to keep in mind, is a transportation aspect. Well, thank you very much. This is a wonderful list of concerns and questions, and really, really appreciate the time you've taken to work on that. Are there any questions you would like to put to me or Andy or Pam at the moment? Meg, go ahead.
Yeah, so I would love to hear, not now, but going forward, you know, what will be more the specifics of the relationship between Impact Northwest and the rest of all of us in the center? I mean, it is what it is right now, but how do we see that going forward? It's kind of a big question, but
Between Impact Northwest and whom?
The BDNA and the community center itself, you know, yeah, the big picture on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to be working on that. We do have a good neighbor agreement at this time that I could share with you, and that's an initial basis for our partnership. And we will be working out an official way for BDNA to partner with Impact Northwest going forward. But just keep in mind, we're at the very beginning, so we need all your inputs, and we can hardly give any outputs at this time.
So Stephanie, speaking of no outputs, with what you want us to vote on, or tonight, it's a little, is it vague, or like the vision that you want us to approve?
Okay, so
it's a little difficult.
Let me, yeah, thank you, Laura Lee, because I forgot that I was going to say after Andy's presentation that the initial role of the BDNA, I'm thinking, will be to, if our board accepts that, and we'll have a vote in a little bit, will be to have a plan that we carry out to inform Brentwood-Darlington residents all about this vision. We want to we want excitement in the neighborhood. We want people to be behind us, behind this vision, and bursting with ideas that they can bring to us. And so helping us table, hand out, talk to your neighbors, just spread the word is one role that we can play. We board members, and we can ask the neighbors to tell the neighbors on the other side of them. Gail, yes, you have a comment.
Does that mean we're gonna have in-person meetings at the community center soon-ish?
Well, I'm thinking about February. And I mean, I want to, but I'm worried about this new subvariant, the XBB 1.5. So let's give it another week and see what's happening. If it spreads from the East Coast to us, maybe we better wait a little bit, but Tina, yes. We can't.
Okay, so actual in-person meetings, here's my thought. When the board is ready to do them, maybe do it as a hybrid so that those of us that really would rather slit my wrist than actually go to a community meeting on this
No,
awful
we
chair.
have to. So
Okay.
I'm learning how to do that.
So have it where we can kind of Zoom and in person. Yeah,
Yes.
that's my request,
I
please.
already know of one approach that requires 2 laptops. So I have one laptop that's still capable of Zooming. It's very old. And so if somebody else can bring a laptop to the meeting and allow it to be the other half of this system, then we can do it easily. It's kind of fun. But yes, we are required by law actually to have a hybrid meeting if we are an organization with public meetings. So, and we are. So yes, Tina, you don't have to slit your wrist.
Well, and it's like we used to have in-person meetings, but so many people, especially young families, couldn't bring. I mean, having small children just wasn't possible. Or like me, I didn't get done with work until 10 minutes before the meeting tonight. So I was shoveling food in my face, having my camera off. I don't want to take that to the community center. I've been coughing for the last 4 months because of allergies, but nobody's going to look at me and want to be sitting near me.
Okay, well, we're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out. Southeast Uplift is working hard on trying to get the equipment that the neighborhood associations need to have hybrid meetings, but I think 2 laptops at the moment could get us going and satisfy the letter of the law and allow homebodies to actually participate. So, yeah. Okay, to go back to our lead up role. Also, I'm thinking that for approaching foundations for money and so on, it's nice to have petitions signed by eager, enthusiastic people to show widespread support for the community center. But we'll talk with Impact Northwest about that, about whether that's really helpful. And I also am thinking, and this is something that I could do, or with Impact Northwest, but to reach out to organizations like Apano and Latino Network and Black Futures Farm or the Black Food Sovereignty Coalition, or both of them, and ERCO, to see if they will endorse our vision, because they are representatives of people who live scattered through our neighborhood. I think it would be a very powerful argument if we had endorsements from these organizations as well. But again, this is what I'm thinking maybe the next steps. I will just ask you to be voting whether you approve the vision, and then do you approve this possible lead up activity. Gail, yes.
Yes.
Oh, we're not
She's
voting yet. We will. Okay. All right. So then over time, we will work together to create a doable role for BDNA to respond to you, Meg, to carry on working with Impact Northwest and with other organizations to make our vision a complete success. And so we will not be leaping to any conclusions without you all, and we'll need your help. Thank you.
So Stephanie, there's a question in the chat from Lorelei who needs to leave us if we have quorum, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she is the 6th board member present. So if she were to leave, we still have satisfied quorum with 5 board members present, just nobody else leave.
Well, okay, Laura Lee, what if we just bring up the matter right now? Can I do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
All right. We're just going to have
Move, and I'll second.
okay. All right. I move that we vote to approve the vision outlined for the BDCC and vote to approve the lead up role proposed for BDNA and putting those two together.
I second.
Okay, Gail seconds it. All right. Let's see. I guess I call the roll now, right? Okay, Gail,
Aye.
Stephanie, aye. Pam,
Aye.
Vivian,
Aye.
Laura Lee,
Aye.
Kim.
Aye.
Thank you very much. All right, then that motion is adopted by the board, and I hear some enthusiasm there. Okay, Gail, yes?
We need to vote on having craft.
Yes, I know, but there's something else that has to be done first, but we're let's just say that we're done with the public part of the meeting and now we're going to go to board business. So Andy, if you want, you can go to your family and your evening.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, I'm really enjoying spending time with everyone. I know it'll be again soon. So thanks a lot. And I'm excited to see where this goes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
Take
very
care.
much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so,
Do I
All right.
move to?
all right, we have, okay, Gail, we're going to vote in a minute, but there's a matter that we have to take care of and it's very important. So I am opposing your leap forward here. Okay, so I want to address a very critical issue. And I'm going to start by reading some excerpts from archived BDNA minutes that I got from the City of Portland archives. I'll be real fast about this, but here's August 2000. In attendance at a BDNA board meeting is listed Gail Kiely. And at that meeting, Ron Sumner thanked Gail Kiely and Opal Hazeltine for working on a newsletter. September 2000, Gail Kiely again reported that the title page for our newsletter is nearly complete. All of the columns are in place. Ron's article is already in place. October 2000, Gail Kiely is noted as in attendance at BDNA. November 2000, the newspaper has been distributed and it looks awesome. The BDNA logo and picture have been scanned at the NPT offices. It's ready to go. January, Gail said another meeting. The chair, Ron, says that all the articles for the newsletter need to be submitted to Gail Kiely by January 19th, said Gail. February 2001, Gail said another meeting. April, same thing. May, she's not there, but Chair Ron Sumner is leading a discussion about her newsletter. February 2002, Gail reports that the newsletter is almost ready for outline form. March 2002, there's Gail in attendance and she says that the newsletter needs additional information so it can be completed and Ron and Gail will work on it. Okay, there's more, but I'm going to stop there. What do all these Gail Kielys have in common? They date from 2 decades ago. Wow.
Wow.
Well, Gail, we decided to notice that you've been going strong with BDNA for 2 decades and counting, and we've been conspiring behind your back on a little something. So hold on, I need to share screen.
Yay, Gail.
Gail Kiely. We have prepared a certificate of appreciation to you. And it says, with deep appreciation, the board of the BDNA acknowledges Gail Kiely's 20 years of dedicated services to the neighborhood of Brentwood-Darlington. We rounded it off to a round number, Gail, because we don't really know how many years you've, I got minutes as far back as I could, and I know that you were there before.
1992.
What?
Mm,
What?
1992.
Oh my gosh, okay.
That's
wow,
30
well,
years.
Okay, well, 20 is
Thanks
not,
to 2 to a 3.
it's not that close then, but that's the best we
Close
could do.
enough.
All right. And anyway, that's not a retirement ceremony, so we don't have to be exact, right?
True.
We just want we just want you to know that we know that it's, and we now know that it's way more than 20, and we really appreciate you. So we wanted to give you a red ribbon and a certificate, and then taped to the back of this this picture frame is a little token of our esteem and affection and appreciation.
Aw,
So let's
aw.
all wave our hands for Gail. Okay?
Aw.
All right, very fine. Thank
Loves
you,
the Gail.
I will get in touch with you in the next day or two and arrange to come by and bring this to your house, okay?
I'll be here.
Okay. And you see, we scrawled all over it, our names.
I love it.
Okay. All right. Now, you see, that was a very critical and important piece of business. All right. Let's get on with, okay, we are not going to be approving minutes. Laura Lee, you may go.
Hooray. Have a good night, everybody. We'll
Okay,
have
good
3
night.
months worth of
Take
minutes
care.
next
Feel
month.
better.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so why don't we get this approval of the community crafting circle over with? So then Tina will stop bugging me about it, okay?
Actually,
I mean, Gail will
don't
stop
really-
harassing me.
we don't really need to vote because we already have the room. We're not spending any money and it's all voluntary. So we really.
I know, but I'm the chair and I like to have things be officially embraced and welcomed. So I move
You wish.
that we approve the community crafting circle as described to be held at the BDCC on the Thursdays indicated in the proposal. And so that the description will just be amended to say circle instead of class. Do I hear a second? Did I move? No.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's take a roll call. All right, Gail, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, I vote aye. Pam,
Hi.
Tina, I can't ask you. Okay, Vivian
Aye.
and Kim.
Aye.
Okay, very fine. Then the vote is, the matter is adopted unanimously. All right, very good. Okay. All right, are you satisfied, Gail? Wonderful. All right. Okay, let's go back to our the top of the list. We're not going to do minutes tonight. Laura Lee is not feeling well, and we will catch up on all the minutes at the February meeting. Okay, Pam, let's see, we need to approve the treasurer's reports of October and November.
Yes.
So let me bring those up.
So while you're doing that, Stephanie, I'll just remind the board that I sent out the October report last month before the November board meeting, but that meeting ran long, and so there was not time for a vote. So there's the October report that you might recall at the very bottom. As of 10/31, we had a forecasted balance of $7,088.39. And I got no questions about that. So do we want to display the November and then move to adopt both?
I don't know how to display them both at one time. I didn't put them together.
No, but I'm saying, do we want to vote on each one individually? Or do you want me to comment on the November report next and then?
Oh, I see.
Take a
Okay, why don't we just do that? Okay. Okay, so do you want to finish commenting on October or you're done?
Well, that's it, unless there are any questions. I didn't receive any in the week since, or the month since I sent this to the board, so.
Right. Yeah, I'll just note that we paid off our partners from the Sparrowhawk fundraiser. They all got their checks, they say, so that was nice to, oh, here comes Malcolm. Okay. Malcolm, welcome, but you've come to the most boring part of the meeting. Are you there? Okay, well, Malcolm, you're there, but if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Hi, friends.
Hello. You,
Sorry, I just got home like 10 minutes ago.
oh,
There's Mirabai.
Hi, friends.
hey, Mirabai and Malcolm. Well, you know, we already, we had a presentation about the Brentwood-Darlington Community Center, and now it's over with.
Oh, sorry, we missed it.
Well, I can I can email you the information about it, okay?
Okay, please do. You have our full endorsement.
Oh, thank you. Oh, because, all right, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
I
Yeah.
saw your email. You have our
Oh,
full.
oh,
endorsement.
thank you. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did email Malcolm earlier and asked if it was okay to approach him for an endorsement, him and
Oh, my
Mirabai.
goodness.
So yes, that, thank you.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Mirabai is also doing fine.
Okay, good.
She's in school. There she is over there. Can you see her?
Hi.
Oh, hi, Mirabai. It's good to see you.
Good to
What are
see
you in school studying?
Environmental studies.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Fabulous.
I'm studying exhaustion and procrastination.
Oh, well, anyway, we can support you. I'm sure that
Right.
we know all the tricks of the trade. So, when will you be getting started on the farm? Probably not until about March or April, right?
Yeah, probably about March or April. I have the preliminary seed, preliminary crop plan looking at me right now, and it's all the rows are empty, but the temperature probably about March. I think if it's not too wet, the temperature will probably be okay, depending. We could put in some things that are on the lower register, so.
Oh, okay, very good. All right, well, but now is a good time to just procrastinate and not do your studies, right? Yeah. And
Yeah.
Malcolm, what are you doing right now?
Sleeping.
No, I know, I meant I meant in general.
Oh, there's a lot going on. Let me see.
He's famous.
I'm definitely not famous. We just did a Kwanzaa video at the farm. I'll send it to you, Stephanie, and you can check it out. That was pretty cool. What else? Still working at Parks. I applied for a promotion there, so we'll see if I get it. I started a new book.
You're writing a book?
Yeah, it's called Love Poems for War Times, a practical handbook for community organizing.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wonderful.
yeah,
That's great.
I hope to have the first draft finished by March so Mirabai can tear it apart as my editor.
Wow.
That's what a good wife is for. That
She's the best. Yeah, that's it.
that's very exciting. I look forward to reading your book.
Yeah, me too. I'm also looking forward to reading it. I wonder what I'm going to say.
Well,
yeah, there's plenty of exciting things going on, but generally that's it. Just trying to get the farm up and running. We're building a bunch of stuff over there right now. So our wash pack went up. We're putting in, so the actual structure of the wash pack went up. If any of you go over to the community gardens and look across the fence, you'll see it's a really nice kind of structure.
and what is it, a wash pack?
Oh, the wash pack is where we process all the vegetables that we pick to take to market or for the CSA or whatever.
I see.
And so, nobody wants dirty old turnips and carrots and stuff. Sluggy lettuce. You don't want slugs in your lettuce.
Okay, slugs maybe not.
Yeah. So, Tina said they just put greens in. Yep. So yeah, we take the stuff there to just, like rinse it off and cut off all the parts that we don't want to give to people. And so that's up and the structure's there, but we bought a sink and we dropped the sink off over there today. We have some contractors in there, like building putting in shelves and stuff. And yeah, we're going to put a little stage over there, and
Oh, nice.
later will come solar panels and then water catchment, and anybody from the community can come and see how that works and learn alongside of us. So if you want to do something like that in your backyard or your house or whatever, we're there as a resource for the community to also learn from.
Oh, thank you. That sounds fabulous.
See, they get solar.
What's that?
Gail,
You
what?
get solar, you get solar. We want solar.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, well, we're gonna try, we'll get solar one way or another for the building.
Yeah,
So-
there's enough to go around. I heard the sun's going to be around for another couple billion years.
Yeah, maybe around for longer than we humans are, yeah, so
Yeah,
as a
that's pretty
species,
likely.
So Malcolm and Mirabai, I can send you some details about what we discussed tonight with regard to the building, and plus a list of what board members' concerns and questions were when they went into their breakout rooms. Would that be of interest to you?
Please do. And I used to work in that building when I worked at Impact Northwest. And so I'm here to be a resource. And if anybody wants to talk or, feel free to call me or email me, or I'm happy to meet folks out and we can further discuss.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So do you mind if we go back to our treasurer's report and our board business now?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I didn't mean to.
Oh,
hijack
no.
the meeting.
No,
Yeah.
we're delighted. No, the invitation to you to join our meeting was at any time, any day, anytime we have a meeting. We're delighted to see you. But we still have to vote on a couple of things. So
Please carry on, my friends.
okay, thank you so much. All right,
Proceed
marvelous.
as ordered. Yes.
Okay, now we're going to go look at the November treasurer's report. Okay, here we go. Oops.
Oh, that's right, Stephanie.
Well, it may be right for you, but on my screen it wasn't. So, okay, I've got it now. I've covered up October.
Yeah, so this was sent to the full board about a week ago. I did not receive any questions. You'll notice that the forecasted balance is a little bit lower than by the end of November than it was the end of October. And that was due to the dividend and the reimbursement that we gave to Stephanie for fronting the cost of printing 1,000 brochures. And the board approved that expenditure in advance at last month's meeting. So that $320.60 hit in November, lowering our forecasted balance by about $313.
Yeah, so dear board members, yeah, we're going to be talking about fundraising, a fundraising plan in the years to come or months to come, I should say. Okay, are there any questions about the two reports?
We have a movie to pay for later this year.
Yeah, we're very, very keenly aware of this, Gail. $1,000. But last year you were able to get the price knocked down a bit. Do you think that's a possibility this year too? It would help if you could possibly do that. Because we don't have anything coming in right now, really. Now that we've the Sparrowhawk that Chelsea carried out is over with, and we don't have a plan for a fundraiser yet, but we're going to be working on that. So we need to watch every penny. And the reason we printed all these brochures right before the end of the year was we needed to spend the Southeast Uplift communication funds fully, or we weren't going to get our $500 from them in January. So it was a rush down to Derek's printer to, in fact, I got the invoice from them before they had finished printing, just so we could get it to Southeast Uplift and say, okay, all right, we spent it all down. And so we're good to go. Then I went back and picked up the forms or the flyers. Yeah, okay.
Oh, Stephanie, I should just add, and this sort of bleeds into the next agenda item about fiscal sponsorship. As we've been reading through all the Southeast Uplift rules, requests for reimbursement are supposed to be submitted within 30 days of incurring the expense. And we didn't know that. And so with respect to that reimbursement for the $20 Department of Justice filing fee, it was submitted after the 30-day deadline, but Southeast Uplift in their graciousness notified us that they were sending us the reimbursement check. So this is an accurate report. We can expect reimbursement for that $20.
Oh, we can expect it. Okay.
The check's in the mail, they tell us.
Okay, very fine. All right. Okay, well, would you like to make a motion and ask the board to approve these two treasurers' reports, Pam?
Sure, I move that the board adopt both the October and November treasurer's report. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Okay, all right, so now we have to ask for a vote. All right, Gail,
Aye.
Stephanie, aye, Pam,
Aye.
Vivian,
Aye.
Kim,
Aye.
thank you very much. Okay, that motion passes unanimously. All right, okay, let's see, what's next? Do you want to talk about, we talked about the vision for the BDCC. We talked about the crafting circle. Do you want to talk about fiscal sponsorship, Pam, since while we're on the money?
Sure, I'll be brief.
Okay.
So I did send two documents to the board in advance just for a general quick overview of both the current fiscal sponsorship agreement, which is quite surprisingly detailed, and then the draft of our renewal application to renew the fiscal sponsorship for the coming year. And as I indicated in my email, Stephanie and I have a lot of questions for Southeast Uplift. The process appears to have changed for the renewal since last year. The form is different. Last year, in the renewal application, Southeast Uplift required attachments reporting on prior years events that received fiscal sponsorship and detailed budgets for any project for the coming year that we were seeking fiscal sponsorship for. So I'm planning on coming back to you next month after Stephanie and I meet with Southeast Uplift staff next Thursday, I believe, to make sure that we thoroughly understand their policies and process for renewal. But there's quite a lot out there on the Southeast Uplift website. You click on fiscal sponsorship, most of the information's not there. I found it under board resources for the treasurer. There's a treasurer's welcome packet. And you go through that and click on all the links and you get a number of other documents. So we've compiled a master list of all of our questions. We'll get firm answers. And we'll come back to you with more information next month and probably ask you to officially endorse our application to Southeast Uplift for renewing the current fiscal sponsorship. So that current term ends on March 23rd. So we have a bit of time for the board to review and approve. What did I leave out, Stephanie?
You forgot to say how mind numbing all this is. Just unbelievable bureaucracy over there. But we're figuring it out little by little. And once we've got it down on paper, you do this, then you do that, then you do the next thing. It's going to be a lot less painful. And but we're still grappling. I mean, for example, in every document they call the neighborhood association something different. In one, we're called the neighborhood association, but in another one, we're called the grantee. In another one, we're called the project. And as you switch around from between the different documents, it can become confusing because projects are also the word project is widely used throughout all of the documents. But it doesn't mean us necessarily. It's only if it's a capital P. the project. So you probably didn't know that you are a member of the project, but you are.
Oh, Stephanie, I think I forgot the most important part of
Oh.
answering the question, why do we need a fiscal sponsor? So we
Okay.
need one because the neighborhood association is not designated by the IRS as a 501c3 entity, and some grantors, apparently Metro is one, will only provide grants to entities that are a 501c3 organization, and Southeast Uplift is, and so the Metro funds would flow first to Southeast Uplift and then to us. And then secondly, we need fiscal sponsorship because individuals or businesses that are making cash or in-kind donations to the neighborhood association may want to deduct that in their tax returns as a charitable contribution. And to do that, they need a receipt from an IRS designated 501c3, which again, we're not, but Southeast Uplift is. So those are two big reasons. And so outside of fiscal sponsorship, we also get insurance coverage for events and for directors and officers liability from Southeast Uplift. But apparently those are two different concepts we're learning. So
Yes.
more to come.
But yes, but the bottom line is we are wedded to Southeast Uplift no matter what. We have to have their services. And so we're trying not to, we're trying to be very cheerful and nice about all this bureaucracy, and it's going to be fine. We're making our way through it, and the staff is being very accommodating. But speaking of accommodations, though, and of grants, I do need to ask the board to approve one more thing, which I wanted to approve at the last meeting, but we ran way over, and we left it for now. And that is, Tina has suggested has proposed, and we are going to have an electronic recycling event that is supplemented by some other wonderful activities at the BDCC on April 1st, which is a Saturday. So that's happening. It's a done deal. But I want to have the board just officially approve it, even though it's sort of after the planning, after the done deal, and so on. So I move that the board approve a proposal to conduct an electronics recycling effort at the end of March, on April 1st, 2023. That's one. And then I want to add, I asked the board, or I'm making a motion. I'm moving that we approve that BDNA apply for funding from Metro's Refresh Fund, which is available to us. So that's the motion. I move that we approve the proposal to conduct an electronics recycling, and we approve BDNA to apply for this grant. And then I'll tell you where things really stand. Okay, so.
Second.
Okay, you second it. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, now let's vote. Okay, Gail?
Aye. And
Stephanie, aye. Pam?
Hi.
Okay, Vivian
Aye.
and Kim.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. That passes unanimously. Okay, so here's what I learned I did apply for the grant and we got it. So it's covering all of our expenses, but then I learned that I was supposed to tell Southeast Uplift first, not just go and apply for it. So I didn't know that. So I have begged mea culpa to Southeast Uplift and please forgive me and never again and all that stuff. So it's going to be fine. But I was a little worried for a while. But it's everything I entered in the application was the way Southeast Uplift would have wanted it, though. So there's nothing wrong. It was just that I did things out of order. And but anyway, that the room is reserved for April 1st, or not the room, the whole center is reserved, and we have money to cover the expenses. and it's a go. And we'll be advertising this, and it's a very wonderful event. And thank you, Tina, for organizing it, thinking it up, making it happen. Go ahead, say something.
Thank you. Okay, and Malcolm and all of your crew, one of the things that is actually on the proposal is to have a seed swap. If you're interested, we'd love to have you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wonderful to bring that up. Thank you, Malcolm. Okay, we'll tell you all about it. We'll keep you in the loop on our plans for that. Yeah, okay.
Consider us at your disposal. We actually have some seeds too. We did some good seed saving this year, so we'll probably have some to bring to contribute. And I love seed swaps.
Well, and the master gardeners, they've got a seed library. They're bringing it,
Oh,
and I've got a greenhouse that I've already started my starts for transplanting as well. So I'll be bringing a bunch of that, as well as any community members that want to join in. So seeds,
Beautiful.
plants, information. I'm actually prepping my space for an edible permaculture forest. So
oh my goodness, that sounds so much fun.
it's a nightmare. I'm not a plant person.
Yes, you are. I seen your garden. Vivian, yes, you have your hand up.
Oh, I was just giving a thumbs up.
Oh, I
to
beg your
that,
pardon.
not a raised hand.
Oh, I beg your
But
pardon. Okay, very
I
good.
do need to get going. I've been
Yes.
listening to my baby cry for about an hour, and
Oh,
she's.
no.
I have
Oh,
some
I'm
friends
so
who are helping
sorry.
out, and I don't think it's going very well. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
if there's no other items that need a vote, I'm gonna jump off.
No, there aren't any other items, but real fast. We have scheduled an afternoon at the BDCC for a board retreat. That will be March 18. That was the soonest I could get it. Okay, and I'll tell you more about it later, Vivian.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Gail, for all your years of service.
Yes, okay,
Bye.
wonderful. Okay, all right, so yes, on the subject of the board retreat, I'll just repeat, the best I could do, unless we waited until fall or something, was the afternoon of March 18th, that's a Saturday. I thought we can order in lunch and start with that, and just, we have a few things to talk about, but just have a nice time together and talk about fundraising, about where we want to go, who we are, and just in general, hang out together as a group that's in a different setting than a board meeting. And we will be meeting in person, but it doesn't have to be, that's not a public meeting, so we don't have to worry about the hybrid thing. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up, Kim. Okay, so Derek is not here to update us on house sales. Casey is not here. Vivian had to leave. The only thing left, and this is not required, Kim, but would you like to tell us anything about the last meeting that you know of with Southeast Uplift?
So we're not having one this month. So this is an easy agenda item. So next meeting is in February, none in January.
Okay, but how about in December? Was there one?
There was, I think I briefed let me grab my notes and I'll come right back. Let me get those.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of the things we had to postpone. I just want to know what a community, that board had talked about community agreements, but I don't know what those are. And maybe Kim will know. So we'll see.
So Stephanie, do we also want Gail to report on our next summer event?
Oh, yeah. Do you submitted the application? Do you expect to hear back from them soon, or?
I haven't heard back. I thought they were supposed to inform me of something.
Oh, well, you could go rattle their cage and see.
It's the last 2 Fridays, maybe the last 3 Fridays in July, because July is usually cooler than August. And I picked a movie, and I think we get a band this year.
Oh, both.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Yeah, what fun. Okay, well, if you don't hear from them
Soonish.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe Monday or Tuesday you could.
And I picked a Star Wars movie, Avatar,
Boy.
and something Disney. I think Encanto, because that was super cute. And Encanto, we can sub in Spanish if we wanted to. But we're way early in the planning process.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah, I'm just, because of the fiscal sponsorship, we have these events on our minds and so we're bugging you about it.
Oh,
So-
yeah. I'm on it. Not just
Well,
like
whenever.
January.
You're the master at doing this. You're
And
the
I'm also really
expert,
good at
so.
whining about getting a discount.
So Gail, is it your understanding that Parks provides the insurance for this event?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
They're-
included in the
they're-
fee
they're
that we're
in charge of
paying.
all of that.
All right, well, that's good to know. Thank you.
Okay, Tina, you had your hand up.
So with regards to like the movies in the park, concert in the park, the upcoming green cycling, who's our graphic design person other than me?
You.
No, I am not. I only have so many hours in a day and I want to read 5,000 books this year and get a garden going again and
Not lose any children.
and take off for 10 days on the Pacific Crest Trail. I mean, come on. I'm busy.
What?
Okay, well,
Alive?
as soon as we get this fiscal sponsorship stuff over with, we can talk about, I might be able to do something basic. But we'll talk about it. I'm probably
Okay,
gonna.
'cause, yeah, we're gonna, I mean, all these require flyers and graphics on the computer, but they're pretty easy, but they do take time.
Yeah. Okay, we can talk about it. I think I'll
you
see you
can
on
create
Sunday, so we can
flyers.
talk about it. Okay, Meg, you have your hand up.
Real briefly, Gail, did you say we have to ask to have subtitles in Spanish or that's automatic? I just want to make
Oh,
sure it
no,
happens.
we would ask if we wanted them.
Well, that's what I mean. Do we
We
want
want
them? I want them. Even though I'm not on the board, I think it's really important that we have them.
Okay. Not a problem.
Anybody else? No?
It
Okay.
depends on what
I
movie.
agree. It's in support of our diversity and inclusion efforts, and some of us are trying to learn Spanish, so that would be good.
Ah, muy bien.
Okay, so Kim, are you back now?
I am, but I cannot find them because I pulled them out of my soul binder for the last meeting. So I will find them and try to maybe summarize. in a
Oh, it's okay.
paragraph.
Let me just ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you know what community agreements are?
Like for us specifically?
Well,
or
no, I mean,
nationwide?
I did look at an agenda from some month. Maybe it was November, maybe it was December, just very briefly from the Southeast Uplift, and it said that on their agenda was community agreements. And I didn't know what those were.
Okay, let me look back at my notes and look at the.
Well,
agenda to refresh
You
my
could tell
memory.
us, you could tell us next time.
Yeah, okay, all right, that sounds good. And then
Yeah.
have a, well,
Okay,
no, yeah, I think I should have an update next time because we're the first Monday of the month. So,
okay,
all right.
all right, very fine. Okay, I think, everybody, I think we're done now, unless there's any other business that board or anybody else would like to bring up. We've got the crafting center settled, a date for the retreat. We've got the electronics events approved and a Metro grant granted. And we've had the presentation on the BDCC. We've heard about fiscal sponsorships. We approved 2 treasurer's reports. I think we're pretty good. I think we
Yes.
have to do anything more. Yeah. And we're very fortunate to have Malcolm come by and Mirabai. And I like the idea of consulting Malcolm about the BDCC in addition to getting his endorsement and Mirabai's. So thank you very much, Malcolm.
I got you. I have a pretty cool side gig for years as a nonprofit consultant. I've been providing those services to nonprofits and people who are starting nonprofits for a pretty long time. Yeah. So
Thank you. Okay, well, we're gonna
happy to provide
be
you.
calling on you.
Yes, I provide you my services free of charge, just for just because we love the BDNA and y'all are a continuous source of delight for us. So I'm happy to help you
Thank
get
you.
your young nonprofit off the ground.
Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it. Okay, stupendous. All right, well, if there's nothing else that somebody's going to bring up, shall we say that our meeting is now ended and we say goodbye? And Gail, I'll be contacting you to bring you something, and thank you again. Yeah, hi Kim, nice to see you. All right, I am going to call an official end to the meeting. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for
Bye.
your participation. And I'm pressing end now, but let me just make sure that I have to see about the chat. Hold on, don't go anywhere. Okay, I saved it. All right, maybe I don't have to, but I did. Okay, and I'm going to stop recording now. Okay. All right, and good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Hi, thanks, Stephanie.